They're like, we don't fly those here. We don't fly that here. Oh, if it's not balsa, it's not a real plane. Like, you know, like how many times do you get that? And that really frustrates me. Hey guys, welcome to the second in my series of Meet the Designer videos. In this series, as I said before, I wanted to focus on the designers, not those scammer designers that message you on Facebook. The actual designers here that pump out great 3D printed models that we all know and love. Now, it takes a lot of time and resources to develop these models. So, you know, there's the amount we pay for these models, it's really relatively nothing. So I think it's the work that they do is just absolutely amazing. So I really tip my hat, my invisible hat to them, and they need to get the recognition that they deserve. So that's why I thought I'd start these series to let them, you know, get that recognition, and also to spend the time to get to know them, get to know what makes them tick, you know, and what kind of people they are, and, you know, how things happen. Our today's guest, a lot of you will definitely know him. He is the designer. He is a proud dad. He smashes out so many models. I really don't know how he does it, being a dad, and I'm sure this is not his day job. So I don't know how he does it, but he does so many amazing models. His modeling style is simple, quick to print, quick to build, but absolutely flies fantastic. And in addition to that, he's got a channel that he just, I cannot not be excited by the way he talks in his videos. I love it. It's just so cool. And his videos are honest, down to earth, and just all around awesome. So I'll say that. So let's bring him in. We have Kyle Germanton, goes under PTIKYLE, or hang on, I'll ask him. PTIKYLE, BUILTFAST. What do we want to say?
Kyle's Designs.
Kyle Designs. Now you've got a bit of a branding thing that you wanted to get through. What's going on here?
A bit of a what?
A bit of a branding thing. Is it Kyle's Designs, PTIKYLE, BuiltFast? What's the story there?
Sorry, there was every like 60 seconds there was a little bit of a glitch, but then I can get through it. Yeah, no big deal. So yeah, Kyle's Designs is kind of the company. BuiltFast is the YouTube channel. And PTIKYLE, that was just my Colts username, and I haven't figured out how to change it. So so I'm kind of like, I'm all over the place.
Yeah, I've heard Colts is a bit of a platform to deal with. I don't know, like without getting into it, how was your experience with using Colts as a distribution platform? No, we're getting into it now, but
yeah, no, Colts has been amazing. I mean, to me, when I first started using it as you know, just looking for other models to print myself, and we can get into that, but I started designing planes because I was buying other people's, and I'm like, you know what, I have to change the way things are done a little bit, and I did do that, and I'm kind of the black sheep in the business because of that. But being on the buyer side, it's way glitchier than it is as the seller. So the seller side of it has been fantastic. I mean, it's a little slow. For some reason, their servers are slower than others. I don't know why, but it takes me a little while.
I get that. Yeah.
It takes me a little while to upload the stuff.
Even the pictures. Sorry, there's a bit of a lag. Apologies. There's sometimes just to load the page and the pictures, like, dude, we got broadband now, so this can't be the internet connection, right? Like,
I know that's the thing. I don't know what it is, but it's a fantastic platform, and it's very reliable. I love that whenever I do an update, I can shoot out an email blast to everyone that purchased a model. If you know, and I revamp my models every once in a while. I'll do a version 2 or a Gen 2 on a model, and they can download that and for free if they already bought it. So it's really seamless, and Colts has been great. And I know the guy that owns Colts now. He's reached out to me. We have a good relationship. So
awesome.
yeah, no, it's a great website.
Oh, awesome. How's the networking? I love it. That's so cool.
Yeah.
Is this your day job, or is this
Okay, so this is, I get asked this a lot, and what's funny is there's kind of an aerospace business right in my flying field where, you know, next door to it, and they a couple engineers came over and were talking to me about my NGAD design, and they were asking me about it, and we were talking, and they said, "Oh, you're an engineer," and I said, no. And that during that day, I actually had my carpet cleaning van at the field, and they said, "I'm just a carpet cleaner."
Never
So
say just, Kyle. Come on, never say just, right? We gotta be proud of
no,
the things we do, man.
no. So I have three businesses. So the carpet cleaning business is one third. I have a vending machine business, that's another third, and the design business is another third. But in my past, I've done design and engineering. So I have my bachelor's in just business, in business management, but I kind of have an engineering mind, as you could tell. I'm self-taught in engineering. My father was an engineer. His father was an engineer. They have 30 or 40 patents between the two of them. I have a patent on a fitness machine. So before I started any of the three businesses I just spoke about, I actually designed a fitness machine back in 2002. And so it's a strength training machine. It was computerized. It was before there were iPads, and they had a touchscreen computer system. So it was before its time. But you know, I did that for a while, and I designed some racing stuff for race cars, and so I've had multiple businesses along the way.
Yeah, but with definitely that engineering mindset, right? You
Oh yeah,
like to. I'm assuming that you like to, like me to an extent, that you like to see how does that thing work, right? Like, do you
yep,
have that curiosity?
I do. And what's funny is I I hate following directions for other people's designs. So that's one of the reasons why I started designing myself, because I'll download plans for something, before I started designing my own, and I actually I hated it, and I hate trying to figure out other people's stuff, so I just have to do it myself.
Yeah, I bet. And you're kind of like, why did they do it this way? Why did they do
A
it
little
that
bit,
way? Oh,
a little bit sometimes.
and
I mean, they're a lot of guys are so talented, and I'm not going to put anybody down, but they're
of course
it's
not.
sometimes things are overly complicated, and sometimes the hardest thing to do is make things simple, and that's my whole philosophy, is that it has to be easy, it has to be easy to print, it has to be easy to build, and it just has to be easy to fly, and everything has to be simple. So that's my thing.
So the easy to fly thing. Do you develop that before you did that? Like, as you're designing the model, do you kind of, or do you kind of just go, I think this will work well, I think that will work well, and then it's down to the maiden when you throw the thing?
Yep. Yeah, I'm mostly all seat of the pants. Like I'm
I love
all
it.
about, like, yeah, because I started out before there was any CAD involved. I was hot wire cutting foam, insulation foam wings and airfoils. And I was designing my own airfoils at that time, back in the early 2000s. And I was hot wire cutting them, and I was sanding them to my own profiles and everything. And I was making flying wings that way. And that's how I got started in RC. So it was that fundamental, just seat of the pants. What I feel is going to work should work, and and that's kind of how I got started doing it. And that's kind of my philosophy now, is it's mostly seat of the pants. I'm not really anti-engineer, but I don't use any NACA numbered airfoils on any of my designs. I have all custom airfoil designs that I use myself, that I've designed myself. I just have a catalog of airfoils that I use for specific models, that, I don't really use anyone else's stuff. I just like to use my own.
So it's time to start going KG0075 airfoil or something along those lines, right? We're
Exactly.
going to get into that.
Exactly. Yep, yep. I'm up to about 5 or 6 different iterations. So yeah.
Oh, fantastic. That is so cool,
Yep.
because I wouldn't even know how to start, right? Like, I've kind of learned Fusion.
Yeah.
So that's going to be a question to you as well. What do you use, just out of interest, to,
Yeah.
to design?
I use Shaper 3D, which is
Shaper 3D. Right.
yeah, a lot of the big companies would laugh at that because it's not really. If I could start over, I would use Fusion. 100%. I would use Fusion 360 because it's so powerful with all the different sides and the way you can go back and you can change all the different lofted sections and things like that. So I would absolutely go back and use Fusion, but Shaper, there is nothing faster than Shaper. Shaper, and I run it on an iPad. I don't even run it on my PC. I'm running it on the largest, best iPad Pro you can buy, and I sit in bed with it. I'm drinking my coffee on my couch, with my iPad. I'll put in an hour. I'll put in an hour upstairs, downstairs. Like I'll bring it with me on vacation. I'm modeling. So it's on an airplane. It's fantastic. I mean, Shapers, there's nothing faster. I was thinking about doing a YouTube video where I film live and you watch me design the whole plane. I can probably do it within 2 hours, like a real simple one, and print it all within one day and get it flying within 24 hours. I'm thinking about making a video like that
I
because
think
it's
that
that
would be a
fast.
great undertaking. I think that would be insane, and that will blow many people's minds, mine included.
Yep.
So
Yeah,
that's
it'll be
really
fun.
awesome.
I'm thinking
Yeah,
about
no,
it.
cool. Yeah, no, that's really cool, man. That's cool. So I guess so you're using Shaper. So take us back. How did you get started in the modeling? Like, did you just go, hey, Shaper, cool, or did you use something else? Look, let you tell the story. How did you get started?
Yeah. So I bought a 3D printer and I'm thinking to myself, I want to print other planes. And I think I bought, I, I, I can't remember what they were, but I bought maybe two or three planes 2 years ago, 2.5 years ago. And, um, and I was just they were vase mode, and it added to the complexity of just it was hard enough to print lightweight PLA. It took me a month just to figure out lightweight PLA, and then the vase mode was. I had to alter the settings, and this is when I had an Ender 3 where I had to level the bed with the piece of paper and blah blah blah. So
I've been there. Been there. Don't you worry. Yeah.
right. So I'm like, and then they were heavy, and there was so much complexity. I was like, I have to do this myself. Even if I just make a simple Mirage 2000 Delta Wing, bank and yank, two servos, and that's kind of my style. I mean, but that was how it all started. And I'm like, okay, let me at least just model just like the nose cone of the plane. And so I'm thinking, and I tried out all the softwares. I tried out, off the top of my head, I can't remember, but Fusion was one of them. And just to import blueprints, three view blueprints into Fusion and then get it lined up right and get everything ready to go, you're already an hour and a half in, like just to get everything like scaled right. And I'm like, forget it. I could import a three view into Shaper and be modeling within 5 to 10 minutes. Like I'm ready to rock and roll. I already imported I have all my fans modeled. I import all the hardware, my 9 gram servos. I'm ready to go within 15 minutes. I already have the scale right of the outline of the plane, and I know exactly where it's going to be. So the efficiency and the rapid iteration of Shaper, there's just nothing compares. Nothing.
That's amazing. So what was the first plane that you designed? Can you go back
The
to the absolute first thing you did? Full plane, right?
Yeah, the first plane. Now this is interesting. It wasn't fully mine because I used the guts. I used the electronics, the two front motors from an Ultrix 600. You know the E-flite Ultrix? It's like a
Yep.
flying. It's like a triangle shaped flying trapezoid, basically,
Death
and it's
Dorito. I think some people refer to it as a death Dorito.
yeah, exactly, and it does the Death Dorito spiral. It does that, yeah.
Yeah,
So
that's it.
I,
It's
I
amazing.
had one of those because those are the kind of quirky planes that I like to. Those are the only ones that I'll purchase now. So it has those two motors and it has the flight stabilization. So I'm thinking like $150 on sale. I buy the Ultrix, and I might have crashed one of them or something, and I had everything was perfect. The two motors and the flight controller system, and it's all very small and lightweight. And I'm thinking this is the way to design a small 3D printable plane, because you don't it doesn't have to fly perfect because it has the flight control and it does, it does all the magic by itself. So I designed an F-35, and it's still on Colts, and I think I sell it for like $7 or something, $8, and it actually flies as good as the Ultrix, and it's this little tiny F-35 that you just glue the Ultrix gear. I would buy an Ultrix if I were new into 3D printing and flying. I would buy an Ultrix just for the hardware to put it in my F-35 because it's so much fun and it flies so good. You can look back to my early videos. I have a couple videos on it. That was the first one. So the jump from that, like flight stabilized E-flite Ultrix, to your own design with no flight stabilization, with your own fan in it, that took me that was a solid month of work with like maybe 5 different iterations to try and get something flying. And I think the Mirage or the F-16 was my first. I think the F-16 was my first design, and that's where I also kind of coined the direct drive tails, where the actual tailerons just glue right onto the servo head. I can't tell you the amount of people that doubted and hated on me for trying to do that, but honestly,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, people said it wouldn't happen, they wouldn't be strong enough, and anything 50 millimeter, is going to be fine. So that was a big breakthrough for me. Was the F-16 and the Mirage 2000 were the first two that flew really well, needed no flight stabilization whatsoever, and that was kind of my whole thing. I never liked having to connect all the flight stabilization and stuff, so I wanted to make something that flew as good as like a motion RC plane that you would buy, a free wing plane, something big name that just flies really good, predictable, just flies solid. So that was my whole thing, and I wanted to make designs like that. But so the F-16, the Mirage, and the Vigan, they all came kind of rapid fire in the very very beginning. But the Vigan was the plane that really people felt comfortable with me, because I made a lot of videos on the Vigan. Had 4 control surfaces. It flies like a dream. And I since a few months ago I revamped the Vigan into a Gen 2, and now it has fully sealed intakes. Like I've really evolved in the past year. so
Well,
so
I'm
it's
sensing you're a big believer in the iterative process, right? So it's not
yeah,
like let's not get it perfect first go. Let's
yeah,
just get the base model and let's
yep,
slowly iterate over it, right?
absolutely, yeah,
Yeah,
100%.
because I think there's theories about like if you chase the perfection, it's never gonna happen, right? Like you're never gonna just do what you can and then just
Exactly.
iterate, right? And then you fly it, you learn it. It's a little bit this, it's a little bit that. Let's fix it, and then you do it that way. I love it. I love that. I love that thinking or
Yeah,
process.
absolutely.
That's quite good. So the so what was I gonna say? I did. I'm gonna try something right now. Just give me a sec. This works, right? So in this one, can you see that?
Oh yeah,
So
Christian.
this
Yeah,
is so
Christian.
my yeah, Christian, right? Like your Jay Kujan, 797 subscribers, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm still a better YouTuber. No, I'm kidding. No, big name, right? And it's
Yeah.
amazing. And I just
Yeah.
wanted to talk about like it must feel so cool and so
Yeah.
good that like look, there's your design right there.
I got a lot of people asking me.
Look, awesome video, right? Like
Oh, it
I'll
was
put a
great.
link in the description, but like to be fit to your designs, that's how many? One, two, three of
3
your
of them.
planes there
Yeah.
being featured by someone with 800,000 subscribers, right? Like,
Yeah.
how does
No,
that
that
make you feel? That's got to be amazing, right?
you know what? Honestly, more than myself enjoying seeing my planes being enjoyed by other people, and getting the audience that they have. my son, my son, watching him watch that video that it made me want to work even harder, because he's 8 years old. He's into YouTube, and the kids don't even watch TV anymore. They watch YouTube. So he's, you know.
What kid? Like, I must say, you must really have a hard time pulling him off of that, right? Like,
Yeah, there's a balance between,
yeah.
you gotta get off the YouTube. But and then, I'm out making a YouTube video telling him to stop watching YouTube, so it's kind of weird. So but he's my biggest fan, and that's and that I started out making YouTube videos because I was just documenting, because I'm very scatterbrained, and I don't have ADD, because I wouldn't be able to do what I do, but I'm very I have so many projects, I'm juggling so many balls in the air, that like the YouTube videos, I go back and watch my videos for my own reference, to see what did I change, what were the issues that I want to address. I even say it at the end of the video. I have to change the CG bumps. They need to move forward a little bit. I need to change the canopy latch a little bit. I'll say it out loud, because I'm just talking about what I need to do. So that's how the YouTube channel started, but it's really blossomed into this whole thing, and yeah, it's been crazy. I never even expected it, and it just kind of happened.
I just gotta say, so I've got a 5-year-old and a 2-year-old, right? And
Wow.
I'm not influencing them. Yes, I am. I'm trying to influence them to like, what I do, right? So I take them to the field whenever I can and all that. But to hear
Yeah.
you say that, like, your son watches the YouTubes, that like it's your designs, that man, my look, goosebumps. Just, that's
Yeah.
awesome, right? Like,
Yeah, it's
because
great.
dad to dad, that's, I think it's hard to sort of convey that feeling, and just hearing it from another dad, that's really cool. And it
Yeah.
yeah, and you're right, like, same with me. When I make videos, right, my intent is not to be successful or not to be this big YouTuber. It's just comes from the passion and the hobby. And like,
Yeah.
I think the hobby just doesn't have as much exposure as what we've got. I'm
Yeah.
been talking to a lot of the clubs in here. I don't know what it's like in America, but like in Australia, right? Like, the aero modelers are, pardon the saying, but they're all dying out. And the
Yeah.
interest in the hobby is really waning, right? So I thought, if I started some sort of channel, and for some odd reason, if it does succeed and it brings the hobby to the limelight, I'm hoping those people like your kid who can't take away from YouTube, right, to see the content, and hopefully to get that next generation up. Like, that's always been my
Yeah.
mission statement. So
Oh yeah. Oh, 100%. And to expand on that a little bit, my club that I'm at, where you see my field in my videos, that huge field, it's a recreational facility, but it's actually an AMA, which is the American standard for RC. It's a soaring club, so it's actually just gliders. And they used to try and kick me out years ago, and not let me
because you're not
fly.
flying a glider.
Right. They're like, if you go get a glider, you can come. And I'm like, I got into it with some of the older guys. And I was like, look, this is a public park, first of all. And I'm here to fly my planes, my EDFs. And there's nothing here. There's no ordinance. There's no state county ordinance that says that I can't fly my planes here. So you're gonna let me fly, or you can just call the police and have them work it out, because I know I'm in the right. So long story short, they have come around to it. There's a new president who I'm very good friends with, and the new president, and there's a couple other guys that fly electric. They fly, some EDF jets and things like that. So, but yeah, it's unfortunately, the majority of this club, they're all 70, 80-year-old guys that they're just not really, they're not going to be around much longer. And I do feel like the the RC airplane hobby has kind of dropped a bit, but I feel like the 3D printed hobby is going up, and we need to connect the two somehow. And I
And
noticed
we
that, like,
did. We are, right? Like,
we're
that's the
trying.
whole
We're
point of it.
we're
We're
trying.
trying. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. The
yeah. I
amount of
agree.
times I go, sorry, the amount of times I go to the field and I bring a weird looking, 3D printed plane, mate, the older guys just crowd around it, right? And they're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, what is this?" That kind of thing. So, in fact, in
Yeah.
my club on last Friday, they were like, they have social meetings, right? So I said, let me do a presentation on 3D printer. Let me tell you about it. Let me tell you what it does, right? Like, and I know these are the older guys, but like, I think it really sparked the idea to them, because you're right. Some clubs, when you get started, they're like, we don't fly those here. We don't fly that here. Oh, if it's not balsa, it's not a real plane. Like, like how many times do you get that? And that really frustrates me, right?
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
guys, you're just shooting the hobby in the foot by being like that, right?
Yeah. 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 You're stomping down any growth. Yeah.
That's right. Because you said 3D printing is on the rise, but quads are also on the rise. And I'm
Yeah.
not just talking the DJI, right? I'm talking
Oh
the
yeah.
FPV. Man, how popular is FPV getting along these days, right? I'm getting into
Yeah.
it, right? Like,
Yeah.
it's amazing. But you know what? When I took my FPV to the club, there were some interesting conversations, and I'm not gonna say anything because don't want to do any bad names, but there were
Yeah.
some interesting conversations with some individuals, right? And that's
Yeah.
it. Really, I guess I got into it because I was so passionate about I don't care what you fly, FPV drones, gliders, EDFs, free flight, do it
Yeah.
safe,
Yeah.
but be welcoming, right? So
Yeah.
we're getting into a bit of a rant now. So
Yeah.
let's simmer down a little bit, and let's just you and we got to chat about this, because I think it is an issue, but you and I can't solve it. But I feel like we're
Yeah.
trying to,
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely. Just
yeah.
yeah.
It's just so frustrating. But anyway, can you just give me? I just have a follow up, because you've designed so many planes, right? Has
Yeah.
any of them given you any sort of sleepless nights, or has anything a sort of like, tell me a time where like you've got, I cannot make this thing to go. Like, what's the deal?
Yes. Well, for the longest time, the F-35 was one of them. So that was one of them. But you can see from Christian's video that you just showed a clip of, I finally got it. I guess I worked on it enough where now it's one of the best all around, flyers. Um, as for planes that I can't get, the sleepless nights, I wouldn't say that it's one particular plane, but now that I'm doing a lot of commission work for people, um, it's kind of a weird situation where people will pay me up front for like maybe for the first 50% to get the project started, because there's a lot of time that's involved in this. And then so you accept that, and then you're assuming that it's gonna fly. so
Oh man, and then
so
you're not. If I didn't know you, you're not one of these scammers that go, "I'll design it for you, mate." Like,
oh no,
oh
I will literally, I would return the payment.
yeah, yeah,
If I
no,
say I have to just scrap the whole program, I would just return it.
yeah,
But yeah, no, that I would say the first throw, or the night before the first throw of a commission project is like, and of course the commission projects have to be complicated. They have to be more complicated than what I would normally go and produce for my Colts page. But those are the most sleepless nights, is because you really have somebody on the other end waiting and hoping and wanting a good outcome. So that's kind of nerve wracking. But you could see from my videos that like when they go and they fly, I'm like so relieved. I'm like, oh, well, yes. Everything. And that twin tracks. So the little story behind that, I originally designed the twin tracks. I flew it. I couldn't believe it flew the first time on the first video. And it actually flew okay. I mean, it was very, very floaty. And then the second one, after Thomas and I worked on it, Thomas did some modifications to it. I reprinted it. We adjusted it a little bit. And that thing, like, if whoever bought it, they're gonna absolutely love it, because it's fairly recent. It's like 3 weeks old. But
yeah,
the
yeah.
the
It's
the
not
twin
long.
tracks, all around, I mean, I can't say that I've ever owned anything from Freewing, anything from E-Flight, anything from any of the huge, like even the cult following planes. Like that thing has some magic to it that it almost flies better than like an Aero Scout. Like it just has this amazing self-leveling. It feels like it's got like it feels like a professional gyro is in the plane, and there's absolutely zero flight stabilization. So that was just genuine, like, oh man, this is unbelievable.
Man, that just flew, like just from that short clip, and people can watch it in that video. It was just
Yeah.
beautiful, like just the
Yeah.
way, it's not, oh my god, I'm flying it off the seat of my pants, right? Like, no,
Yeah.
it was great, like it was absolutely
Hands off.
fantastic. So
Yeah, it was just
yeah,
hands off. Like the thing was just kind of doing its own circuits, and I was just putting in minor inputs, and it was. And then when something flies so well at all speeds, basically, where it comes in, and even when it's hitting ground effect and it's about to touch down, and it still is rock solid, and then even the ground handling's rock solid, and then the takeoff is just like a perfect ascent. It's not jumpy. Sometimes planes will once it comes out of ground effect, it shoots up a little bit. Yeah, you know
yep,
exactly what I'm talking about.
yep,
Even
yep.
the best planes. So that thing was just, it was just like this, as smooth as could be. It was unbelievable.
It's great. I do love that. So I will definitely be getting a few more of that. It's just at the moment my hangar is a little bit full. So
Yeah.
my significant other has pretty much imposed a one in, one out policy. So
Yep.
for me, it's I actually just got rid of about 4 aircraft.
Wow.
So just so that I can make space for a few things. So
Yep.
yeah, it's been hard when you have limited space, unfortunately. So,
Yes, yes. I'm thankful. My wife is very easygoing with it because she knows that it is mostly a business now. But I have a huge 1,500 square foot garage behind my house where I have a mountain of airframes with no electronics in them.
yep,
Just a mountain.
yep. Yep. That's so
So,
cool. And look, my wife is very supportive. It is, and,
yeah.
and she is right. Like I hate to admit it, but she is right. It is getting pretty hectic there. Where to a point where like some of them are actually falling off and damaging other planes. So
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah. So especially I got a couple of gliders as well. I've been getting into
They're
slope
big.
soaring recently.
Yeah.
So I don't know
Yeah,
if
I
you've
saw
ever
your
tried it.
videos. Yeah.
Oh, it's fantastic. I absolutely love it. I'm absolutely obsessed with it. So yeah, that's
Yeah.
where I'm going right now. So yeah. Look,
Very cool.
I just want to go one last question and we'll go to the quick fire session because
Yeah.
it was, mate, the time just goes. I
I
think we
know.
got to have another chat another
I
time. But
know. I know.
so how do you make your decision on what to make next? And give us a bit of an insight on what's in the Kyle roadmap. Give us a bit of
Yeah.
a yeah.
So I'm kind of like the dog that chases after cars. Like I'm scrolling through my feed on Kyle's designs on Facebook, and people, my members are great. They constantly give me ideas, and they're always giving me great ideas. I literally, like, if something just hits me like a lightning bolt, I see it, I'm like, that's what I'm doing next. But the problem is I have 5 or 6 or 7 designs that are at different stages of readiness, almost ready to print. And if you got a second, I can show you. I'll give you a little sneak peek.
Absolutely, go for it.
Okay. I think this will be pretty cool here. I'll be
Yeah,
real
yeah,
quick.
yeah. Let's see
This
it.
is
Here you
this
go,
has not been
everyone.
seen yet. This is coming. This is
Exclusive.
this is an exclusive.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
gonna do the dragon lady, okay? So
Yes.
we got a
You
50
heard it here
millimeter,
first, guys.
the U2 spy plane. So it's gonna
Yep.
have a carbon spar for all the carbon spar guys. It's gonna have one.
You're kind of gonna want. Well, actually, first question: what wingspan are we talking?
Yeah. Oh, it's okay. So I don't know offhand, and I don't want to tie up your video, but it's
No,
gonna
no.
be. I think it's 6 or 7 inches shorter than my Global Hawk, and that was also a
Okay.
50. So I can't
50.
remember exactly.
Right.
I know that the
What is
spar is
50?
is a
50
thousand
inches, right?
millimeters.
50 inch in millimeters. Sorry, I'm 1.2. So 50 inches of 1.2 meter, right? So yay. Yeah.
Well, it's a 50 millimeter fan.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
So, and the Global Hawk flies awesome with that. So it's going to be a little more manageable. It's not going to be as large of a bird. And I think that it's going to be along the lines of not a trainer, but intermediate to beginner.
So the Dragon Lady, you're wanting to target an intermediate flying experience.
Yeah. It should be off to the printers in about 4 days.
Right. So I think, if I may be so bold, that you'd probably be looking for a U2 1.4, 1.4, 1400, whatever that is in inches. I don't really know. Let me do that.
Actually,
1400,
it's
55.
my carbon spar is about 2/3 the wingspan, and that's 1,000 millimeters.
Yeah.
So
They usually they usually like in meter lengths, because
yep.
I don't know what it is with you Americans and your imperial systems. I gotta say, man, what is this yards to? What the heck, dude?
I know, and I'm kind of caught in between. Like all the people at my flying field, they're all inches and feet, and I always talk in millimeters because I design in millimeters. So that's kind of my language. Yeah.
Yeah, it's the same with some guys in the field. So the older guys, they're 55 inches, 60 inches. That means nothing to me.
Right.
That'd be good, man. A 1400 millimeter. Oh, I'd be right into that. Don't you worry. Quick fire, whatever comes to your mind, right? It's like, I think I know the answer to the first one. You're a Spectrum boy, aren't you?
I am.
You are
pure laziness. Pure laziness.
No, look, they have their place, my friend. They have their place. But I gotta get you into the OpenTX stuff, man. Like I know you like to
I have it right in that drawer, but I haven't programmed it. I haven't taken the time to get to learn it. So
please message me if you want a quick. I'm not a guru, but I can get you started. That's awesome.
I'll take you up on that.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because I mean, I just can't get how you would want to pay more money for more channels, right? That's just that really gets to my core. Right?
It's pretty stupid. It's pretty stupid, yeah.
and with and ELRS is fantastic as well, but that's a whole other kettle of fish. So it's amazing, dude. Honestly, yeah. 250, 500 hertz instruct. Oh, look, I will occupy your time, so I will shut up now. So, and I also know the answer to this one, just mainly because you're a jet man too, EDF, as opposed to props, right?
Yep, absolutely.
Yep. I know you got nothing against props, but
I
feel like you love jets, right?
No, to be honest, my first RC plane was a fun jet. And I hot rodded it to a 6S pusher, and that thing was like almost 200 miles an hour. So that was I have a YouTube video on that thing. So that was early days. So I love props. Props have their place.
Yeah, no, that's good. So have you experimented with a lot of FPV or not yet?
Well, FPV DJI is fantastic because it's so plug and play, seamless. Yep. And so I have I have a couple O3 Air units that I put in my Bat Jet, not the Bat Wing, but the Bat Jet, which is like the single, like the more of the beginner jet. That's an FPV platform, and I flew that and a couple other little things, and it's fun. It's a lot of fun. It really is, and I understand why people love it so much.
That's awesome. Have you experimented with VTOLs?
A little bit. I
do.
Okay, so I want to. I'm never gonna have like an F-35 or a Harrier that VTOLs. But I am interested in the in that old 1950s Pogo that takes off with the counter rotating props from its so I actually 3D designed one of those, and my proportions and the scale, they weren't right, and I had some issues with it. But I think that now that I have more information with the flight stabilization, vertical takeoff systems, things like that, I think I may attempt it maybe next winter when I have a slow time and I can try and get it going. But that would be pretty cool because I have the motor in a drawer over here that has the two counter rotating systems, a pretty heavy duty one. So I want to put it to
Wow,
good
that's
use.
cool.
Yeah.
No, that's awesome. And then it's just about getting that because you can't fly it without a flight stabilizer. I think
No,
it's
no.
one of those things you got to have that. So, have you had any designers recently that has inspired you? Now's the time to name drop. Sorry if
Any
I'll
designers?
say that.
Any
Yeah,
designers that
designers
inspire
that
me?
have inspired you. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I would say Joel. I don't want to butcher his last name, but he does the
Yep.
VTOL. As we were
Yeah.
just talking about. Joel
Yeah.
is he's amazing. I mean, his skills are just like way up there.
Yeah, I think he just reached out to connect with me, so I'll
Yeah,
probably have a chat to him because his
yeah,
designs are talk about complicated, but
yeah,
like I think I want to do it as a challenge because
yeah.
it's wow,
Yeah, so
amazing. So
Joel
I gotta,
definitely, and we actually just started connecting a little bit. So we did talk about maybe doing a joint project at some point. So that would be kind of cool, teaming
wow,
up together. So
wow,
yeah,
that is awesome. No, that'd be
yeah,
great. And to round us up, I just want to close. I want to say thank you. Thank you for your time. I really do appreciate it. I know how
yeah,
busy it is raising a family and your four jobs. One of them's being a dad, right? So,
yes.
and finally, I'll just ask you, just so that we know. The file format where it's an image that moves. How would you pronounce that? Do you know what I'm talking about? It's spelled GIF.
Oh, a GIF.
Ah, yeah, it's a GIF. How do you feel when somebody says GIF?
That's a good question. I don't know. I just remember like all my young friends when I was younger saying GIF. So I don't really even no one said GIF, and then but in people in other countries I've heard say GIF. So
I heard someone say GIF, and it kind of made my eyes go like, "What? What are you talking about?"
yep. That's
No,
funny.
thank you. Thank you. So, really appreciate it. We'll be putting links in the description of the video once it's done, saying that for
Cool.
my future self. And yeah, and thank you. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you for being a Facebook friend now. I can
Yeah.
bug you now. So
No,
I,
anytime.
I love chatting planes. I love chatting RC. So yeah, but
Yeah.
thank you very much, and I hope you
No,
have
it's
a
been
great
fun.
night. Let me just press the
It's
end.
been fun. Thank you so much.